Okay, so welcome everybody to your yoga practice. Welcome to you all on Zoom that are watching live. And if you're watching this on a recording in the future, and welcome to Wendy, who is over here as well, who I'm traveling with. And we're having a great time here in Bali. And Karen's waving as well. Everyone's waving. So let's get started. It is 3:30 in the afternoon here. So the weather might be a little warmer than it is at home. Our energy might be a little bit more uplifted in the afternoon than it is at home. And we're all going to take it really steady today. You might see me start sweating in a moment because this will be the most movement that we normally do. Hey, during the day, we're normally on the bean bags at this time. So we're going to start sitting if that feels all right in your body. If you'd rather lie down, you can. We're going to work with a mudra though, which is easier to do sitting. But if you prefer to lie down, you can. If there's any sound issues or anything, just give me a little wave or let me know in the chat. So creating a comfortable seat. You might want to close the eyes. You might have the eyes gently open. And we're going to work a mudra called Kesapana mudra, which I'm going to show you first of all. So we take the hands, fold over all the fingers, and then it's the index finger that points forward. Sometimes it's nicknamed James Bond mudra. And then as we sit, the thumbs kind of cross like this. And as you guys sit, it's kind of pointing towards the floor. So it's a sense of downward energy, so to speak. If it doesn't feel comfortable, you can just have the hands resting on towards the legs. Let there be a kind of a sense of buoyancy in the chest. And I know the light here is a little dark, but I wanted to give you the view rather than me. So you got the view, so I'll be a little dark. And then take a few slow breaths and recognizing that as you take those few slow breaths, although we're all in different parts of the country, different parts of the world, we're very much connected by this practice of yoga, by the amazing system that we have called Zoom, and you could even say by the breath. So the mudra that we're gently holding here is called Kesapana mudra. And it's a mudra, you could say, that offers a sense of letting go, of pouring out. And it comes with an affirmation. The affirmation is spent energy in my mind, body, and soul flows away from me. And I gratefully accept all things that refresh me. Spent energy in my mind, body, and soul flows away from me. And I gratefully accept all things that refresh me. So my invitation to you for the next maybe 5 to 10 breaths is this little sense of lift through the chest, this softening of the shoulders, this holding of the mudra. And then with every out breath, with no expectation or judgment, just offering this sense of letting go on the out breath. Maybe it's something, maybe it's a thought that you wish to kind of let go of this morning. Maybe there's something that is holding tension in the body, as Jill said, the hamstrings and the lats. Like, notice, what is it that you gently want to let go of in this moment? And on the out breath, you imagine that kind of pouring away or moving away. It might even be an exhalation through the mouth. The reason for offering this mudra today is that whilst being away, I've observed people's conversations on WhatsApp and Instagram, and a lot of people are saying, oh, nearly there, nearly in spring. But how can we be in the present moment, yet let go of that that's no longer serving us and invite in all that refreshes us? Maybe a thought, a word, something healthy to eat, so that we can work with the present moment rather than wishing. And it might be you guys wishing it's warmer. It might be me wishing that the rain stopped. What is it as you take maybe 1 to 2 more long out breaths here? What is it that you wish to maybe let go of? That spent energy from winter, and that you maybe wish to invite in this moment, in this day that will refresh you. Perhaps the corners of the mouth turn up in a little smile. And then we release the hands and just place them there on towards the thighs. Let the energy of that mudra kind of take a steady posture, so to speak. Connected by the breath, connected by that mantra. And then we're going to do a brief breath exercise, which you guys have done many times before. So we're going to take the hand up towards the face. You might want to pull in the index finger and middle finger. And then with the thumb, just notice where the right nostril is. And with the ring finger, just notice where the left nostril is. We're going to take a breath in through both sides of the nose. We're going to press on the left and exhale through the right. We're going to stay on the right side though. So exhaling there. And then inhaling through the right. And exhaling through the right. Slow, steady breath. In through the right. And out through the right. In through the right. And out through the right, obviously changing as you wish. Now this time we're going to breathe in through the right. We're going to close the right and exhale through the left. In through the left. And out through the left. In through the left. And out through the left. In through the left. And out through the left. Now this time we're going to switch. So this time I'm going to take the breath in through the left. And out through the right. In through the right. And out through the left. In through the left. And out through the right. In through the right. And this is our last breath out through the left side of this breath technique. And then releasing the hand back towards the leg. Maybe there's that little lift and roll of the shoulders. Again, that sense of buoyancy through the chest. Maybe the corners of the mouth turn up. I don't know if you can hear it through the AirPods, but there's a rooster crowing just to remind you that it's morning where you are. And we're going to let the fingers drop towards the floor and just trying to kind of gently touch the earth. Press the fingertips down. And again, feel that little lift through the chest, through the crown of the head. And then we're going to turn the palms up, take the arms wide into a big circle, reaching up, maybe looking up, maybe the eyes blink open, they don't have to. And we're going to pull the hands down the center line of the body. We're going to take this 2 more times. So arms go wide, reaching up, a big stretch. And then bringing the hands down the center line. I can see Stan the dog there. Welcome, Stan. Arms go wide, reaching up. And then last time, we're going to bring the hands down the center. We're just going to take it into a brief twist, then we'll be moving away from cross leg shape. So whichever way you want to go, a little twist, glance over that shoulder. And then back to center. We're going to take a little twist towards the other side, that little lift, that little twist. And back to center. Great. Let's come on to hands and knees. Wendy and I have got our pool towels today and cushions. So make sure you support the knees if you need to. We're going to come onto hands and knees. Hands to the floor, knees to the floor. About 5 rounds of cat-cow, whichever way you want to look. And then rounding through the body. And again, as you move, this sense of welcoming in all that refreshes you, right? Maybe it's your morning practice. I did a yoga practice this morning because I woke up pretty cranky in the body, broken sleep due to the storm, one thing and another, mosquito bites, which I have an abundance of, the joy. Let's take a couple more. So I'm just letting that go and welcoming in, seeing you guys, that refreshes me for sure. Last one here, rounding through the spine, softening through the chest, maybe looking up, looking forward into your day. And then we're going to tuck the toes under, stretch into the soles of the feet briefly for a moment. You can move a little side to side. See, even though you think this is paradise, right? It still rains. As the Dalai Lama says, there's always a mosquito in paradise, right? There'll always be something. And let's go into our downward facing dog. So as you lift up and back, or pedaling out the legs, giving the head a little shake. Again, maybe there's a little smile to the self. And as you take a few moments in your downward facing dog, just recognizing what other movements you want to put in. Maybe you want to kind of do a plank dog a few times, just bringing in a couple of bits of movement. Yep, you can do a cobra pose. Yes, Claire. I don't know if you've got the heating on there. Chris says, my husband says it's been a bit chilly at home. So a little bit of movement. Maybe we'll take about 1 more minute here, waking up the spine, anything that feels right for you. And as you do that, I'm going to share just a little quote by Thich Nhat Hanh that I put on the newsletter that says, awareness is like the sun. When it shines on things, they are transformed. So as you move through the body, maybe 2 to 3 more breaths here, just noticing as you place that awareness on the body, it does change it, right? This yoga practice that we do every week, it does change it. So from whatever you're doing, we're going to find our way into a standing forward bend. Oh, joy for the hamstrings. Even though we're in warmer weather, Wendy and I are still pretty stiff in the body, right, Wendy? We're going to pedal a little through the legs, maybe shake a little through the head. Maybe there's one more thing there today from that mudra. What is it that you want to kind of let go of, that spent energy, that tiredness, and invite in all things that refresh you. So from our forward fold, we're going to bring ourselves slowly up, taking your time to roll the body up. Let's take a big morning stretch. It feels like morning here, to be fair, even though we've been up for ages, doesn't it? And then bringing the hands down the center line. Good. So we're going to pause briefly. You can keep the hands into prayer if that feels okay. We've still got everyone on Zoom. That's good to know. You might even close the eyes and just take a few steady breaths. Really feeling that connection of the feet to the floor, that sense of upward lift of the energy now as we move from our mudras and our breath into the body. And that recognition that everything changes, right? Here it's sunny, then it's rain. At home, it might be rainy, and then it'll be sunny. So let's do a little nod towards the sun. Let's bring the arms down by the side of the body. take them in a small or a big stretch. Let's come down the center line, all the way to the floor. All we're going to do is briefly pause here, look towards the knees, and then soften through the knees. We take the arms wide again, a big stretch. It's so nice to have so much space compared to my flat. And we bring the hands just simply to the chest. Good. Pause there, take a breath. We're going to do this a couple more times. So arms go wide, this big stretch up, down the center line if that feels okay. Remember, you can bend the knees as much or as little as you like. You look towards the knees, pause briefly, and then come up as you wish. This big stretch if you've got the space. And then we bring the hands again, just pausing briefly there. Lots of little moments to pause. We're going to take one more round here. So arms moving, reaching as high as you can stretch up, down the center line towards the floor. That brief pause, look towards the knees, and then press through the feet, rise all the way up. We're going to pause again with the hands in prayer. Good. Take a moment, take a breath, that little nod towards our day. All right, we're going to move again. We're just going to add on. We're going to take it super steady, reaching up this big stretch, down the center line towards the floor. Now we're going to put in a half lift here, hands towards the shins, and then notice that engagement along the spine. Someone reminded me of this in a class the other day, to strengthen the back in this movement, and then hands towards the floor. We're going to take the right foot back, knee touches down, nice low lunge. Me and these millions of ants that we are joined with gloriously every day, reach the arms up. We're going to bring the hands towards the floor, lift the back knee, stretch into that left leg, and step forward. Take your time coming all the way up, and we're going to pause, hands together. Good. Take your time, take a breath there. And then we're going to move again. Good. Arms go wide, reaching up. Down the center line of the body. So again, the kind of point here is when you bring the hands to the floor or the shins, engage along the spine. So kind of almost, it's like you're kind of tensing the muscles along the spine. And then hands towards the floor, left foot back or the opposite foot back, knee touches down. That's what we did, wasn't it? Yeah, arms reaching up, thank you. Hands towards the floor, lift the back knee, draw that hip back, and step forward. Take your time to come all the way up, and then bring in the hands together. Good. Pause in briefly there. Maybe acknowledging that question. What is it that refreshes you, that you want to bring in towards your day? All right, let's move again, reaching up, big stretch. Down the center line of the body. Again, that little lift through the heart, that look forward, but notice the muscles of the back. And then right foot back. This time, high or low lunge into, and don't want to imagine if I fell into the pool. It would be funny, but reaching up. And now we're going to bring the hands down to the floor. We're going to take our plank pose. You can choose, you can do cobra or and child's pose, entirely up to you. Oh my goodness, my arms hurt so much from that PT session. I can't even move. And downward facing dog. So 3 steady breaths here. You might pedal through the leg. You might take an extra vinyasa. Again, just notice what is going to bring you your kind of sense of feeling refreshed today, even if the weather isn't so good. So right foot's going to come through between the hands, whether that's from the knees, you're stepping it through. High or low lunge, reaching up. Hands towards the floor, lift the back knee. You can always lengthen through that right leg if you want. Step forward to your standing forward fold and come all the way up. And bringing the hands together. Good. So taking a couple of rounds of breath just to pause, just to gather, keeping us present in this moment. Let's move again. Arms wider forward, reaching up. Maybe noticing there's a bit more movement there in the shoulders. We come down the center line of the body. So I've got really lazy with this half lift. So just noticing, can you engage the muscles along the back? So kind of along the spine. And then we take the left foot back, high or low lunge, reaching up. got a fly that's joining in the practice. Bring the hands down towards the floor, step back into plank. Choose your flow. Perhaps it's an upward facing dog now. Perhaps it's a cobra or a child's pose. Downward facing dog. 3 rounds of breath. So as you take your time here, remember you can miss downward facing dog if you want to, if you prefer to do a child's pose. That's it, everyone. Good, you got it. Take in one more long round of breath there. And then we bring that left foot forward. It might be from the knees or it might be by stepping it through, taking the arms up, reaching up, hands towards the floor, drawing that hip back and stepping forward. Taking your time to rise all the way up. And again, that pause there. So you might keep the hands in prayer. You might bring the hands onto the body. There's also a mudra called Hasta mudra. Hasta normally means hands, or does mean hands, where you can have the arms and hands out as if you were kind of gently going to serve something to someone, a little tray, or you're going to take something. And this is a great way of either inviting in something or offering or letting go of something. So just as you stand, hands stretched out, we're going to do a couple of standing postures. Ooh. So from here, turning the palms over, pressing the hands down by the side of the body and opening the eyes if they're closed. All right, we're going to take one leg back. I'm going to start with the right. We're going to come into warrior 2. If you see me kind of skipping around a little, it's just that we've got a few flies and a few ants here. So we're going to come into warrior 2, bending into that knee, driving down through that back heel, looking over that hand, and noticing that, again, that sense of buoyancy I talked about earlier, that sense of lift through the chest. Yet now we want a sense of grounding through the legs. So you might bend a little more in towards that knee, reaching out through the arms, looking over the fingertips. And we're going to take about 2 more breaths here. Breathing in, breathing out. It's always a fly. One more round of breath here. And then we're going to take it into something that's often called humble warrior. So we're going to take the hands, clasp the hands behind. It's almost a little lift and a little turn towards that front leg. You can stay here or find your kind of degree of comfort. We bow towards that front leg. You can keep the hands on towards the lower back, and the arms might lift in towards the sky. Let the head lower and look back towards that back foot. We're only going to take one more round of breath here. And then there's a lot of activity that's got to occur. You've got to press down through the feet. Woof, come all the way up. Briefly, warrior 2. And then we're going to do the opposite side. So I'm just going to turn to the back of the mat. You can always step and do what we normally do, whatever works best for you. So warrior 2, bending in towards that knee, reaching out through the arms. Good, everyone. And then notice with the arms, again, something that I often like to miss, the triceps, right? So down the back of the arm, think of this little squeeze of the triceps. You're reaching out through the fingertips, looking over that front hand and becoming aware of the breath, maybe becoming aware of the things that irritate you. So for me, it's these ants, right? They have as much right to be here as I do. Maybe noticing of any joy that's in the body right now, right? That strength of the leg, that lift of the arms. A humble warrior doesn't suit you. You can stay here. Otherwise, we're going to clasp the hands behind us, this little lift of the chest and this little bow towards the front leg. Keep the hands on the lower back or let the arms lift. So looking towards that heel, take in maybe 1 to 2 more rounds of breath. That front thigh is working and you're pressing down through that back foot as well. Now from here, let's come all the way up. Woo. Reach out through the arms. Take a moment, take a breath. And then we're going to release the arms and turn the feet towards the long edge of the mat. So you'll need to adjust accordingly. We're going to come into our wide leg forward fold. Whew. Starting to sweat a little bit here now. Hands towards the hips, that lift through the chest, maybe the corners of the mouth lift up. I can see a couple of our little geckos that are so incredibly loud. You would not believe it. It's probably the loudest thing, isn't it? The geckos, I think. Yeah. This little lift of the chest. We're going to come into our wide leg forward fold. Remember, if you've got a chair, you can put hands onto the chair, you can put them onto the blocks, or you can reach them to the floor. Now we're going to move about 2 or 3 times. So come up onto the fingertips and engage along the spine like we did earlier. Again, I miss this a lot in my practice. I just had a reminder the other day. And then fold towards the legs. We're going to do that a couple more times. You can bend the knees. We're going to look forward. Again, it's like this little kind of almost like drawing of tension along the spine. And then we're going to fold back in. We do this one more time. Look forward, kind of almost like you're squeezing the shoulder blades together a little, and then fold towards the legs. Now, as you come into your forward fold, some of you will let the head hang, and then some of you will stay still, but some of you will want to move a little. So I know Jill was saying about the hamstrings feeling really tight. You can take the weight from one foot to the other. Take your time. We're going to take about 5 more rounds of breath. I'm just going to check you guys are all right. I can see Wendy's doing all right over there. Yes. Good. So most people taking movement this morning, right? Just kind of easing into the body. Another round or two of breath. Remember, you can take the feet as wide as you want. Good. Yeah. I promise you guys, even though I'm in this really hot climate, my hamstrings are still incredibly tight every day. So from here, we're going to bring our hands towards our waist and we're going to come all the way up. Now, if you have any dizziness, obviously stop halfway. And then we're just going to step the feet in, give them a little shake, give the arms a little shimmy. We can do this to get rid of a few of the ants. We've got a lot of ants here. That's the only thing is we've got a lot of ants. Little shake. Yeah, so we're going to do a little bit of standing work now. We're going to work tree to warrior 3. Tree to warrior 3. So again, just going to make sure I don't fall in the pool. We're going to take one knee up. So I'm going to start on the right side. Remember, you can use a wall if you want to. Steady yourself, first of all, by almost, it sounds a little strange in yoga, but almost bracing the core, right? This is what this PT's been getting me to do, which I just don't do core work. It's kind of almost a little brace of the core, as if you were almost pressing the abdominals in towards the fingertips. So rather than drawing the waist in, think of almost pressing the waist out and notice what that switches on, right? Then we're going to pick one knee up, find your balance. I can turn around Wendy. Me and Wendy look at each other. We're just going to tip each other over and then come into tree. So bringing that foot on towards the leg, find your balance, recognize how that core is working. If you want to, you can bring hands into prayer. And if you have them resting at the chest, think of pressing the chest up a little into the hands, like the hands are pressed into the chest and the chest is pressing into the hands. You can always take the arms up if you wish to. And then notice again that sense of almost safety, almost security in the core, just keeping you very stable. We're going to keep that awareness in towards this core. Let's call it the core, right? Right from the top of the glutes up towards almost the shoulder blades. And we're going to bring that knee back in and we're going to take warrior 3. If you want hands on the floor, you can. So we're going to drive that foot back, press back through the heel and notice what's happened to that core. Is it still switching on? Are you kind of still bracing? Hands might stay in prayer, or you can take them out towards the side. We can celebrate all the travel that we do, airplane arms, or we can take them out in front of us. Oh my goodness, reaching through the fingertips, back through that heel. Now we're going to come all the way back up and just place that foot down. Oh, my legs. Yeah, give them a little. Everyone's doing this. Everyone's giving the legs a little shake. Oh, did anyone? I definitely held my breath. Me too. Okay, that's good to know. All right, let's go to the second side. So this might sound a little strange about the core because normally we're taught to pull the core in, right? But if you think, forgive me for a better example, if someone were to hit you right? Or something were to hit your belly, you push kind of the core out, so to speak, to kind of meet that resistance. So we want to create this kind of container by almost pressing the belly out or the muscles out into the fingertips rather than pulling it in. I know. It's an interesting concept. So let's take tree pose. So we start to switch on the center of the body, opposite leg lifts. Maybe as you bring that foot towards the leg, you take a mudra with the hands. You could always take lotus mudra, which is when the hands are like this. Good. Yep. Use the furniture, use the wall. Good. We're going to take a few more rounds of breath here. And the reason for really working with that sense of the core is to help us into warrior 3. So let's think, what leg did I just do? Okay, this one. So bringing the hands back to center. You can stay in tree if you prefer. Otherwise, you might even dig the fingers a little into that kind of front part of the body. Almost think of pressing the abdominals a little into the fingertops. And then knee comes in. And then we take warrior 3. So as you press back through the heel, I always laugh a little in this pose because it is so deeply uncomfortable. Where do you want to place the hands? Maybe as the leg lifts a little more, you might take the arms out towards the side. Maybe you're reaching them out in front of you. Let's see if we can take 2 more rounds of breath here. See if you can actually breathe in and out in this shape. And then we're going to come all the way up and release the foot. Give the body a little shimmy. Roll through the ankles, roll through the wrists. Take a moment. Let's give ourselves just a little twist. I love that quote. Where was it? Awareness is like the sun. When it shines on things, they are transformed. So placing our awareness today on that we want to invite in, that what we want to let go, and what's going to serve us best. Okay, let's slow this down and come back to standing. And I know a couple of you might have to leave early for work. So if you do, just make sure you do what serves you best. Make sure you're grounded to head off for your day. All right, we're going to come back to the top of the mat. Let the arms maybe rest by the side of the body, or if you wish to create again, Hasta Mudra. Maybe the eyes are open, maybe the eyes are closed. Couple of steady breaths. If you had to place your awareness on something in this moment right now, what would it be? Perhaps it's inner reflection. Perhaps it's the view here. It is still raining. Perhaps it's your day, your breath, your body. And then let's take that awareness into movement. Let's bring the hands down by the side of the body. Arms go wide or forward, reaching up. We're going to come down into a standing forward bend. So as you come down towards the floor, just let the hands land to the floor. If you can, let the head look towards the knees, even if the knees are bent. Now, some of you are going to stay here, or you might have hands onto blocks, or we're going to take our peace fingers, like you're doing the peace sign, and loop them around the big toe. So they go in between the big toe and the second toe. And then we're going to do that same little half lift, often called Ardha Uttanasana in Sanskrit. So we're going to look forward and lengthen. Oh my goodness. Engage the muscles along the back. We're going to bend the elbows slightly. I'm going to bend my knees, and we're going to look towards the knees again, coming to a version of a forward fold. We're going to do that again. So we're going to press the toes down into the fingers, almost like you're pulling the toes up, look forward. And then bend the elbows, bend the knees, look towards the knees. Easiest way of getting a little stretch along the neck. Third and final time like this. Look forward and lengthen. And then bending the knees if you want, or keeping the legs straightish. And now we're going to take about 5 breaths here. If it doesn't serve you holding the big toe, just big toes, just have hands to the floor. Follow the breath here, breathing in. That's it, Wendy. Relax the back of the neck. That's it. Breathing out. Good. That's it, Jill. You got it. Good, everyone. Few more rounds of breath here. Claire's cat's joining in, breathing in and breathing out. That's it, Karen S. Just letting the back of the neck lengthen. Good, Simon. And then that's it, Lisa. Good, Katrina and Fee. Jackie. Good. Okay, now we're going to release the toes. We're going to place the hands to the floor and we're going to come into our downward facing dog. So I've been doing a lot more standing forward folds than downward facing dogs lately for the hamstrings. If you've got tight hamstrings, just know that I find that those forward folds can sometimes just get us a little bit more into the hamstrings. So from downward facing dog, let's come forward into our plank, move through an optional vinyasa. Oh, you know what? I'm going to take child's pose. My shoulders are so stiff from that class I did yesterday, stretching it out. And then again, your downward facing dog. Take that about 2 or 3 more times. So you can do a plank and a cobra pose, or a plank and a child's pose, or both. Downward facing dog. Good. A couple more times. You can go a little quicker if you want. Hopefully it's not been too slow for you guys today. Good. Another round there. And then if finally, in a moment, you're going to find your way in towards a seated shape. So coming on towards your seat, stretching the legs out. Oh, my goodness. It's probably a good job that the light isn't too bright. You'll see my shiny face. We're going to stretch the legs out for a moment. A good bend in the knees. I take a moment just kind of drive the heels down, and then for a moment think of straightening the legs. So my knees are bent a little bit, they're off the floor, so there's a bit of tension there, and then have hands by the side of the body. Some people, you can straighten the legs and really press the legs down into the floor, as long as you're not kind of getting to the back of the knees. And for me, I can't get the palms down, so I've got fingertips on the floor, but you can have palms down. Bye, Katrina. I know you're leaving early, so we'll see you soon. Say hi to Seamus. So if you're in this seated shape, you might be able to press the palms into the floor, but if you can't, then I come up onto fingertips. Press out through the heels, that little lift in towards the chest, chin gently dips in. You might even close your eyes. This is often called staff pose. A sense of connection to the earth, a sense of connection to the floor. I'm just going to take one more round of breath here. I find this incredibly hard, this shape. And then we're just going to bring the hands back up and just give the legs a little shimmy. All right, so I'm just going to bring my left knee in, but you can bring any leg in. We're going to come into as if the legs were like in tree pose. Oh, it feels weird looking at my watch. So I'm like, oh my God, it's 4:15. Like, what are we doing? But of course, it's different. So fingertips to the floor, little lift of the chest. We're going to come into a pose called Janu Shirshasana, or often head to knee, but I don't like to use that phrase because my head doesn't come towards my knee. So it's this little lift of the chest, and then we walk the fingertips forward, or finding your own way there. Now we're going to go into it in stages. So fingertips to the floor, then we lift the heart up like we did earlier, that engaging through the back, and then walking the fingertips forward, folding towards that leg. We're going to do this a couple more times. So fingertips to the floor, lift and lengthen. Maybe the fingertips walk more forward, you fold towards the leg, and you might do that one more time, that lift and lengthen. Notice that almost pinch of the shoulder blades, and then again folding towards that leg. Now, if you're quite close to the foot, you can take one hand over. So for example, my right hand to the inside of the foot, my left hand to the outside of my right foot, bend the elbows a little, and then draw the body down. But again, work with what feels right for you. You can bend that extended leg as much or as little as you want. We're going to take about 3 more breaths here. Yep, that's it, Claire. Well done. Good. Finding the breath. And in this moment, notice what comes up, right? I was reading an article about this earlier. So for me, it's the mosquito that just bit me. For you, it might be something in your day, right? And just noticing, how do we work with these, let's call them interruptions in what we often create as tranquil moments? How do we deal with it? Right, from here, we're going to come all the way up. Now I've got my left leg folded in. So I'm going to bring my left hand behind me. We're going to do it a couple of times. Keep the bum to the floor if that feels okay. We're going to reach the right arm or the arm you're working up and back. And then very briefly coming back to center and into that pose that we just did, often Janu Shirshasana, head to knee. Now this time we're going to bring that hand back and round, and you guys can lift the bum up off the floor, reaching up and reaching back. And then we're just going to bring ourselves back to center to our sitting shape. Good. Okay. And then we're going to change sides. So bringing the opposite knee in, letting that knee fall out. Oof, just got my little colony of ants just coming in now. Fingertips to the floor. So think of that, the back body along the spine, almost give it a little squeeze. Then relax that, walk the fingertips forward. Then hands into the floor, fingertips into the floor. Again, that little lift and lengthen. Remember, you can have that leg bent. Walk the fingertips forward. Press through the fingertips, that lift and lengthen. That's it, Wendy. Walking the fingertips forward. Maybe you've got one more there in you. This little lift and lengthen. And then this little, it's not little, is it? It's a big fold forward. Either keep the hands to the floor or supporting yourself, or you cross at the wrists. Gently pull the elbows, folding towards that leg. I'm going to take a few more rounds of breath here. If it feels particularly challenging, then work more in an upright shape. Yeah, or twist. That's it, Jill. Nice. Another round or two of breath. Can you let go of that long exhalation? Remember that Kesapana mudra. Spend energy in my mind, body, and soul. Flows away from me, and I gratefully accept all things that refresh me. So let's bring the body all the way up. So this is my right knee. So I'm going to bring my right hand behind me for the first round. I'm going to bring that arm up and back. Big stretch there. And then we come back into that forward fold that we've just been practicing briefly for a moment. And then second time, we bring the hand behind us, press through the hand, the knee, the foot, reach up and back, often called, I think it's called Stargazer, I think. And then we come back to center, land towards the mat. And then for a moment, bring the soles of the feet together. The mosquito's now like, oh, a bit sweaty. A little lift through the chest. And we're going to bow towards the legs. You can stay upright if you prefer, or we're going to take a little round towards towards the feet. And now if you want to, you don't have to, but like we've been playing, you can bring the hands out in front of you, lift and lengthen, engage through the back, and then fold in. And you can always do that a couple more times, that lift and lengthen. Let the out breath occur though as you fold down. Maybe one more time. And fold towards the feet. And take about 5 breaths there. You can let the eyes close or have the eyes open. And so there's kind of 2 little themes in our class today. That sense of accepting the things that refresh us, especially in winter. And also being aware. What is it we want to place our awareness on? What is it we want to let go of? What is it we want to invite in? When we become aware, we can notice, we can observe, we can be the witness. And we can always recognize that we don't actually need to change anything when we're aware. We can just be aware. Couple more breaths here. Good. And then we push ourselves all the way up. Give the legs again a little stretch, a little shimmy. So in a moment, we're going to come down to lie onto the floor. We've got, oh, big butterfly just came in. We've got a little bit more work to do. I might do some of it with you, but I am like literally living here or practicing my yoga on Ant Highway. So I'll see what I do with you. We're going to lie the body down. We're going to come into a double leg or a single leg spinal twist. So I'm going to give it a go with you and see what I can do. So let's come to lie the body down. You might want to pull the knees in for a moment, squeezing them in. I'm using the towel here. You can use some underneath the head, maybe pulling them in. You might even pull the head up towards the knees for a moment. Give yourself kind of big squeeze there. Maybe we haven't done much for the feet. You might kind of roll the feet a little, maybe stretch through the toes, give them a little wiggle. And then we're going to come into a twist. So I'm going to offer you double leg spinal twist, but you can do whichever twist you want. I like to scoot the hips a little. So for example, if I'm bringing the knees to the right, I'll often bump the hips to the left a little and then bring the knees or the knee over if you're doing a single leg spinal twist. And then with the opposite arm, stretch it out or have it bent at the elbow and maybe look away from the twist. The eyes can close gently and see if you can relax the palm of the hand. And as you do, bring in this sense of noticing. Maybe just simply the breath. Maybe the sounds in your home. And just seeing if you can be with that for a few more breaths, resisting that urge to think of things to do. And I laugh because I always reach out for a pen and paper in my practice, making lists. So just seeing if you can be in this moment. So take one more steady breath here. Now, remember that work we did earlier with the, let's call it the core? We're going to take that now. So it's almost like you're kind of pressing or embracing a little through the core. We're going to bring the knees back up to center just for a moment as you kind of come back into the center. Bring the knees in. You might want to take a little stretch of the legs up and move through the feet a little. Maybe roll through the ankles and stretch through the toes. And then let's twist onto the other side. So for example, I'm going to the left. I'm going to place both feet onto the floor and I'm going to scoot the hips to the right slightly. And then I'm going to bring the knees over to the left. And then that other arm, that right arm, or whichever side you're doing can stretch out or be bent there at the elbow. And I used to spend most of my twists looking up towards the ceiling, but now lately I kind of do make the effort to look away from the twist. If the neck feels comfortable too, you can do that. Take in a little bit of time here. 3, 4, 5 steady breaths. And we take a couple more moments here, and you might be able to place one hand to the belly. So probably if you're going to the left hand, or vice versa. You might be able to kind of really just feel how the belly moves, all the muscles that are working there. And then that awareness to the core, to the belly. We're going to bring the knees back up to center, hugging them in, maybe lifting the head towards the knees, maybe again stretching the legs up. And you might even want to stretch the arms away. And then the tiniest, one more thing, and then we're going to come into probably relaxation. So we're just going to let the knees hover over the hips here, and then the arms are on the floor. So think of the spine, press the spine into the floor so you'll feel the pelvis tilt slightly. a little energy through those toes. That's it, Wendy. And we're going to keep the spine pressed into the floor, and we're going to tap one foot down as if you were tapping your toes, maybe into this little pool here. We bring the knee back up, press the spine into the floor. Other foot taps towards the floor, and then we bring that back up. And then again, you realign, press the spine into the floor. So the tiniest bit of core work, this little tap. We bring the knee back up. Don't swing it into the chest though. And then other foot taps, coming back up. Again, we press the spine into the floor. We're going to do 3 more on each side. So one side and then the other. Coming back up. You guys carry on there. We're going to check everyone's all right. Wendy's doing it. Very good. When you come back up to center though, remember, press the spine into the floor. So you kind of always want to re-engage. I know, what a joy, right? What a joy. How many more we got? Maybe one more on each side, Wendy. That's it. I'm surprised you're not tapping your feet into the pool, to be fair. Maybe that's it. And then bring the knees into the chest. Well done. So we're going to take a few minutes to rest. If there's anything else the body wishes for, you can absolutely take another pose or two. Otherwise, making sure that you're warm, or for Wendy here, that you're warm, but maybe that you're ant-free, where you've got a cushion under your head. Yes, Jackie's got a pup. Always a little puppy makes Shavasana super easy when she's got zoomies. So taking your time, I can just see Maisie like literally whizzing across the screen if anyone can see. So taking your time, setting yourself up. You can lie, as always, on your back, on your belly, on your side. You can sit. And you can be in constructive rest as well, which is feet onto the floor, knees bent, the feet as wide as the mat and the knees knocking. Now I'm using my AirPods, so you shouldn't get too much noise from here. But if you do hear a rooster or some strange noise from the background of Bali, then we'll welcome that all in as well. There might be a sigh out of the mouth. Awareness is like the sun. When it shines on things, they are transformed. So just like when the sun hits here in Bali, creating this lush green island, it changes and transforms things. Let's do that with our awareness. Few quiet moments here. Oh, I can't get bugs. Yeah. So for the next minute, I'm just going to invite you to take your awareness to the breath. Placing that awareness on the breath as you breathe out, letting go that spent energy, maybe a little bit of winter, flowing away. And as you breathe in, gratefully accepting all the things that refresh you. Yeah, perhaps it's a little pup. Jackie's got a puppy there. Perhaps it's something you're going to add into your day, or maybe take something away. Perhaps it's your practice. And take a few more rounds of breath there. Really letting the breath amplify that intention. And then perhaps a little bit of movement, a little stretch, a little yawn, just a few minutes over. Maybe a sigh out, recognizing the choice you made today. Well done to get up for yoga. And then maybe a little movement, maybe knees in, a little swish of the knees, and you might come towards a seat. We've actually worked a lot of mudras today. We've worked Kesapana mudra, we've worked Namaste or Anjali mudra, we've worked Hasta mudra. So you can choose. We've also worked mudra of calm abiding. So you can choose where you wish to place the hands. Maybe it's just towards the heart, wherever feels right. Maybe it's giving yourself a big hug, whatever feels right. Just taking a moment to settle into these last few moments of our practice, recognizing the effort you've put in. The sense, as I said at the beginning of class, that we're all connected through this practice, through Zoom, through our breath, no matter where we are. And if you wish to, you can bow down towards our day with all the little things that come up, because it will, whether it's a mosquito or something or someone that annoys us, there'll always be something. This practice of yoga helps us work through it with perhaps a sense of grace. Thank you for being here, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. It's been a joy to teach you here from Bali. Thank you, Wendy, for being there today as well. And thank you all for being here. Hope you have a wonderful day.